Alright, welcome back to Make It Mental, everybody. What you're looking at right there is a rough representation of one lower or upper control arm. They are both upper and lower going to eventually be totally symmetrical. Left can be right, top can be bottom, bottom can be top, etc., etc. So I've laid out one, I've cut it out the parts roughly to size. It's a little bit big right now, except for the smallest one you see right there, which is about 5 millimeters, maybe actually 6 millimeters. It'll still gonna get trimmed down a little bit. The reason, if you're new to this and didn't watch any of the other videos, is because this suspension here, this custom suspension I'm building for the 124 scale drag car, these ball links right here have too much friction, so I need to reduce the friction. So here's a basic layout. I'm going to solder them together, and I believe I'm going to try and notch these tubes, like building a custom chassis or a custom roll cage. I'm going to try and notch them, but I don't have a file that small. I have a drill, or not a drill bit, a diamond bit that might do it. I don't know. I might have to cut these off and go straight across, which would be fine, which is basically all that is. It's pretty much straight from here up and from here up. The only thing that changes really is this area, but the camera does not like shiny things. There we go. So it's pretty much straight. And it just gives the illusion that it's not. So how did I get here? Alright, so I just come up with a game plan first. That's all you have to do. You come up with your imagination. There's a desire. There's something you want and you need to achieve it. That's the first step. So after figuring out what I wanted, I decided to lay out a template on wood, drew it out to scale, and this would be, this area right here would be this area, though hard to see on camera because the camera does not like this aluminum. It'd be this area right here, way down here, straight across. That would be this area. So I took a measurement here, which is basically from here to here, approximately 3/4 of an inch. And then from here to here, or actually, if I was going straight down, that's 3/4 of an inch. So this, from this tube to this tube right here, is going to be a little bit short. But I've made these long, so these are going to get cut down actually. This is the jig that I made to cut these down. I just laid the tube up in there and cut it down with a rotary tool. I first started to use a coping saw, and the coping saw would get bound up and it would bind, but more on that later. So you come up with a plan, you draw it to scale of what you want, and you pick a spot to start. That's probably the hardest thing. I figured this small little piece right here was the good place to start. I knew I needed it to be from this point to this point. So, and I needed it to be this wide and this wide. So I basically roughed in a square, and this is where I needed to start. And the angle is determined by the space given. So who cares what the angle actually is? This, by the way, happened to actually be 22.5 degrees. It's not necessary to do the angle, and I still might end up cutting it off. I don't know, but it would give more surface area and more bite, because I do plan on soldering these together. Angles technically give you more surface area to weld to glue to, whatever you want to do, whether you're woodworking, metalworking, what have you. And if you can notch them, you even get even more surface area. So that's the goal. So then I made me a little jig, like you see here, to hold them in place. And I did several cuts. This is just a simple 3/4 inch piece of wood, about 1/2 of an inch tall. And what you want is a precise cut. You may take you a couple of times, but you don't want a loose cut. And by loose, I mean, I can literally, it's a little bit hard because I'm using a camera as my eyeballs. Take this. Well, you see how easy, I can just slide that out of there with my finger. This one here, I'm not gonna slide it out of my, there. It's just not gonna happen. That's a precise cut. And I had to push that in there with my finger. Now, if you have to jab that tube in there with a screwdriver, it's too tight. But if you push it in there with your finger, and let it sit there. That's nice. Then I just used my rotary tool. I gently glided my rotary tool. You can see a little circular type cut right there. Just gently let it right up against the surface and whacked it off. So my next plan is, after I clean up these edges, I'm going to solder this one to this one, this one to this one. Then I'm going to trim this down to size, and then this is just an example. That's not actually going to be there, but that's just an example. And then I'm going to solder a piece onto there. Then I got to do that 3 more times, and that'll be my upper, lower, etc. for our left and right side. So you want to know what size tubes to buy. If you don't have to be building control arms, maybe you want to build an RC boat. So 1/16 shaft will fit in a 3/32 tube. A 3/32 shaft will fit in a 1/8 tube. A 1/8 shaft will fit in a 5/32. Granted, these can all be tubes, right? But you can't fit a shaft within a shaft, unlike what the Democrats might want to tell you. You can fit a tube within a tube. Right? If this is a 1/16 tube, 3/32, it gives you a very nice, precise fit. It's too bad they don't mention the inside diameters when you buy this stuff. Kind of hard to tell on camera. Let's see if we can get a better view. It may be hard to back up a little bit. But anyway, you guys get the idea. That's what's going on there. Very nice. So if you're making a boat, you can make that your prop shaft, then you can make that your tube for the prop shaft to ride into. And you can use it for other modeling things. And it wasn't terribly expensive. I got this stuff. This is the name brand. You can find these guys on eBay. That's where I got mine. That's where I've been doing most of my hobby stuff. Anything I can buy, I buy now on eBay because I can select if it comes from the United States or somewhere else. And unlike Amazon, you don't know if it's coming from China unless you do some heavy research. So I quit Amazon a long time ago. I like eBay better. I see we have better luck and faster shipping times. I hope you all enjoyed this little segment. Have a nice night.